All right, welcome back to Fleccas Talks, the podcast, episode 114. Today on the show, it's popping off between Israel and Hamas in the Middle East. We will give you guys a reasonable take there. Then, is Ron Desantis wearing high heels to appear taller? We'll tell you why we think he is. Then, in Cringe of the Week, cis allies are considered transphobic by the LGBTs. We'll tell you why they don't deserve as much credit as we're giving them. And last but not least, the term picnic is now racist. We'll tell you how. All this and more as Fleccas Talks, the podcast, episode 114, ranked the best new podcast of all time.
Because words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words. But at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool. Very cool.
It's Fleccas Talks, the podcast, featuring Richard Grab.
All right, one for one on the intro as always. Guys, this week's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Fume. Now, if you're like me, you probably have a couple bad habits that would be good to get rid of, but cold turkey isn't always the way. That's why I use Fume. Fume is a company that helps you defeat your bad habits in a unique and natural way. Fume is an innovative, award-nominated device that helps you redirect your bad habits and turn them into something more productive and less harmful. Whenever I have the urge to do a bad hand-to-mouth habit, I instead grab my Fume and breathe in the refreshing flavored air. No electronics, no vapors, no harmful chemicals, and it has a nice weight to it too, so it's good to fidget with. So if you want help kicking your bad habits, pick up a Fume today. Go to tryfume.com, that's TRYFUM.com, and use code Fleccas for 10% off. That's tryfume.com, use code Fleccas. They support the show, let's support them right back, and let's kick our bad habits. All right, let's get into housekeeping. All right, thank you to Fume for sponsoring. It's very important to get rid of our bad habits, Richard. All right, moving on. We have, obviously, situation in the Middle East, very sad situation. Israel, there was an attack, a Hamas attack on a concert where a bunch of innocent people were killed, and things are obviously escalating now.
Not exactly the way to get a bunch of people on your side, raiding and doing literal terrorism and war crimes. So.
Yeah, literal war crimes. I don't, obviously, it's a very sad situation. How do they not see it coming?
And it was on the 50th anniversary as well of some sort of historic war.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Usually they don't let even, somebody come up to the fence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They have the Iron Dome. They have the guys with machine guns everywhere. They have some of the most, in-depth intelligence in the whole world.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of guys with paragliders just like jump over the fence, fly over the fence, and then start shooting everybody.
Yeah.
On the 50th anniversary or something. So that's kind of, it's not ideal, but I just don't get how they didn't see that coming and didn't stop it.
I agree.
But obviously the Jews versus the Muslims, it's a tale as old as time.
Yeah.
It's a rivalry.
They go back.
It's a rivalry match. It's a rivalry match. They go back for a while. You're never really going to catch us on the show warmongering.
Exactly.
We saw it with Russia, Ukraine. It's not an ideal situation either, but you're never going to get us saying we need to go to war, we need to go send our money, send our military, or getting too involved. You're not going to catch us doing that. Dan Crenshaw, on the other hand.
We leave that to Mr. Crenshaw, Congressman Crenshaw.
We leave that to Congressman Dan Crenshaw, who wants to make it the war of all wars.
Great, Dan.
He had a tweet about it. Can you give that a read?
Yeah, this will not be a fleeting conflict in the Israeli-Palestinian saga. This looks like it will be the war to end all wars. It's different this time, and it needs to be clear to Hamas and the Iranian Ayatollah and all their other proxies that this was a severe miscalculation. They need to be defeated. All their proxies, Dan.
That's a lot.
How many countries are we going to be in, Dan?
That's a lot. That's going to keep us busy. That's expensive. A lot of people are calling for war and warmongering. Go fight.
Join up.
Oh, you're too old? Send your kids. Send your sons. Go fight. Russia, Ukraine, want to get involved in that? Go fight.
Send all your money if you're not going to go fight, or send your sons.
Yeah.
Just dump some cash over there. And, me personally, I'm more interested in what's going to happen. I'm an America first guy, American perspective. I see these Israeli-Palestinian beefs popping up all over. Mm-hmm. San Diego. What are they doing there? Tampa? What? We're doing ethnic beefs in Tampa?
Yeah. New York City, LA, Canada, Europe.
Yeah, it's UK. It's all over the Western world. I saw one in Sydney, even. So it's like, this is what we're going to deal with. That's more what I'm concerned with.
We got a lot of these Hamas types, Hamas apologists. A lot of them in America, it seems like. And
frankly, a shocking number on Twitter, the online reaction, a shocking number cheerleading the atrocities, the rapes of civilian women.
A lot of people don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, and then let alone, thankfully our border's been closed for the last 12 months.
Yeah,
nope.
not. Bill Malhusian had a tweet about that. Can you give it a read?
Yeah, Border Patrol arrests of suspects on the FBI's terror watch list at the southern border. Trump era, total of 9 or something like that. 21, 15, 22, 98, 23, 151 so far. There have also been over 1.5 million known gotaways since start of 2021, enough to fill 16 Rose Bowls.
That's a lot.
Hope they don't get activated by this.
Which I think, unfortunately, is going to be the result. There's going to be a carryover, and I think this could be a theme going into the election as well. World War III was on the agenda for the deep state, and that's what they wanted really bad, especially in Russia, Ukraine. They couldn't really get it done there. Mm-hmm. So it's going to get done elsewhere, it seems like. And like we said, we're not going to warmonger. We're never going to say, we need to go get involved, especially since pretty much every war in history has been started over either a false flag event or for ulterior motives that were not made public. You know, 9/11, World War I and II, Gaddafi, that whole situation, what's going on in Ukraine. There's always ulterior motives, and it's not as easy as, good guys versus bad guys. We got to get involved and help. We're the global good guys.
Yeah, I don't have to choose sides because me choosing a side doesn't help Israel in the war they're about to be fighting.
Yeah, they have to.
They got all the weapons. They're gonna fight.
They got to fight. They got attacked by some bad guys. They need to go fight. I don't know how I'm involved as a straight white Christian male in America.
Yeah,
I don't know where I get involved in that. I can do commentary on my podcast.
I'm against the rape and murder of innocent civilians.
Yeah, I'm against terrorism,
which I saw on those videos. But other than that, good luck in your fight, Israel.
Yeah, Israel, you got to beat them up.
You have a lot of weapons. You're very powerful. Relative to Palestine. And I also think it's interesting that there are basically 2 types of wars that are going to be fought in modern international relations, which is like one group is wars fought on ethnic and religious lines. Mm-hmm. That's Israel versus Palestine, Hamas rather, I guess, at this point. And the other is, regional powerful countries, hegemons, if you will, like Russia, China, the U.S., and the U.S. isn't participating in this, but those regional kind of powerhouses are going to flex their muscles on what their rights are, their territorial waters, Ukraine, that was actually us, and then it's funny that those are the 2 that we've seen pop up, those 2 exact types of wars, and the runway gets a little greasier when America's weak.
Yeah.
And so you see these people seize their opportunities and go for it, and those are the 2 types of wars, ethnic and religious lines, and then the powerhouses of the world kind of flexing like, Taiwan's mine, Ukraine's mine. Mm-hmm. So, and then, obviously we're not going to full-scale war with a nuclear power to stop it.
Yeah. So it seems like that's what they want. They want a full-blown war before the next election. I think they're going to get it.
Yeah. Defense stocks are up. Yeah. We're filming this Monday. Defense stocks, straight up.
Straight up. A good time to buy calls. Well, no.
Too late.
Yeah, it's too late. But
Friday was the best time.
Friday was the time to buy calls. All right, so that's what's going on in Israel. We'll keep you guys posted there. Let's move on. Like we said, a lot of people coming across the border.
How about those gliders, though?
That's how you got across?
They got in. They just have these little motor gliders. That was crazy. That's like modern warfare, Call of Duty
Fortnite,
shit.
Yeah. That's literally what they do in Fortnite. Yep. And then, everyone's saying, Joe Biden gave $6 billion to Iran.
Yeah.
And then 400 for a glider, 400 for a glider, 400 for a glider. Is that how it went down?
I don't know.
All that money?
I don't know. I'm not there.
Yeah.
I'm not from there.
Yeah.
So I don't really know.
I'm not from there, and I'm not fully involved, and we have people that hate our country as much as Hamas hates the Jews. Then that's who we should be worried about.
And also, it's very frustrating to see Congress just get mobilized for, everyone condemns this universally. of course you condemn it. It's terrorism, right?
Mm-hmm.
But southern border, no consensus there. Closed borders, nothing to do there.
Or we don't agree there. We can't get on the same page there. But Israel gets attacked, and then it's all hands on deck.
Yep.
And what resources do you need? What money do you need? How many times did we, face a divided Congress over funding or for wall funding? Everything.
Yep.
But this one I guess is an easier choice. All right, let's move on. Like we said, a lot of people are coming across the border, and it's affecting our country. We have millions of people here illegally. Eric Adams had an update because obviously New York's getting smoked with all these illegals. The hotels are full, the budget's running out, and there's people in the streets. Let's see what maybe Eric Adams hopefully has updated his views and
you would think so.
His stance on this.
We believe the borders should remain open. That's the official position of this city, but we have made it clear there should be a decompression strategy that we could properly deal with the volumes that's coming into our city. And no city.
Yeah, so no change of thought there. When we have our own issues from people coming across illegally, when they do a terrorist attack on us, we can play that Eric Adams clip and go, Eric, here's your
official stance. The city's official stance.
Yeah, here's your policy in action. How do you want to change your view or what?
And then one thing I will say is these coastal voters like New York and LA always complain about like, oh, you lost the popular vote, but Trump won 2016, and like, we all vote the same, and then Montana has the same amount of senators as us, and we have 5 times the people, or whatever it is. And it's like, all the illegals are going to New York and LA and San Fran. Good luck. The political move to bust them to the sanctuary cities themselves ended up being a good one, as long as they can all get deported in the end.
Yeah, that would be a good move, to be honest, because then you'd really start seeing some people voting on it, where it's like, oh, yeah, we're in LA and we're going to vote, sanctuary city and open the border. Okay, cool. Everyone's going to come to LA.
I saw some.
You guys voted for it.
Yeah.
You're going to get it. Still want it, and you're going to see it change real quick.
Still want it, or do you have enough fentanyl addicts already that these illegals on the street are actually the tipping point? And also, I saw some Border Patrol footage, not Border Patrol, but at the border, people were handing out flyers like, San Francisco welcomes you. And it's like, what is a sanctuary city? And it spells it out for them. So
go gold mine in San Francisco.
Good luck.
All right, Hillary Clinton. We have an update from her. She had a new clip where she's talking about forced deprogramming the MAGA people.
Very strong partisans in both parties in the past, and we had very bitter battles over all kinds of things, gun control and climate change and the economy and taxes. But there wasn't this little tail of extremism wagging the dog of the Republican Party as it is today. Mm-hmm. And sadly, so many of those extremists, those MAGA extremists, take their marching orders from Donald Trump, who has no credibility left by any measure. He's only in it for himself. He's now defending himself in civil actions and criminal actions. And when do they break with him? Because at some point, maybe there needs to be a formal deprogramming of the cult members, but something needs to happen.
A formal deprogramming?
How formal, Hillary? Where?
Am I going to get bust? Is she taking my bus idea?
She's threatening you.
And then Jack Posobiec had a great tweet about this as well.
He said, Biden delivers MAGA extremism speech. Newsweek reports FBI has set up secret task force targeting MAGA. Hillary calls for MAGA deprogramming centers. Are you paying attention yet? Mao would be proud.
Yeah, so get ready for that, everybody. Mm-hmm. Make sure you move to red states ASAP like we did.
Yeah. Just casual mention of deprogramming and like no specific details on the policies or like understanding that us humans like the policies that a person can do. Yeah. It's just like they're a cult. These ideas are extreme, and it's like not getting ripped off, closing the border, like ensuring the Second Amendment, and like very simple foundational stuff. And she's like, can we just get back to the uniparty already?
Yeah, lowering taxes, closing the border, arresting criminals. We're the extremists. We need to get that out of our head.
She's defending shit that was made up in the last 10 years. Every transgender rights are everyone's rights.
Yeah.
And but we're the crazy people.
Yeah.
She's doing shit that just got discovered.
Yeah, exactly. All right, moving on. Make sure you guys use this opportunity to tickle the post, like the video, leave a comment again. Make sure notifications are on. Help us juice the algo. It goes a long way. You guys have been so good in the comments.
Yeah.
Can't
You know what was
thank you enough.
you know what was an alco juicer from last week?
Huh.
A lot of disagreements. People saying keep the heel of the bread in.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone was disagreeing with you. They said, no, the bread gets moldy. No, it ruins the integrity of the loaf. Well, enjoy sneaking your hand past that heel then.
Yeah,
That's all we can tell you.
exactly.
And your bread will be fresh, but you'll be digging through.
like an idiot.
So enjoy.
All right, let's move on. I saw this thing that was pretty funny. Is it racist? It's basically a meme, but it says, let's play a game. The rules are simple. In a Google search, type in insert anything racist and see what you get. And basically everything you type in is in fact racist.
Yeah, I've done this before on like my Instagram story. Hiking is racist. Basically anything they make a leap. In this example here is smiling. Is smiling racist? That thing, that reflective thing that you do that nobody controls.
That babies do?
Yeah.
Into the article, the weird connection between smiling and racism. So they got something ready for everything.
Yeah, there's an article for everything. I want to see some weird ones. I want to see you guys try some weird ones. So if you get any results that are even funnier than smiling, which is a natural human instinct that babies do,
And every race does.
send us that. Yeah.
Yeah, tag us also on Instagram and stuff, and we'll repost it. Also, remember the cop from last week? This is a little bit of an update. Remember the cop for the DUI?
Non-binary DUI cop?
Yeah, the cop who pulled over the non-binary person and then called her ma'am by accident and then was very polite and kept going.
Yeah, the non-binary Native American woman who was driving the wrong way,
Yeah.
who was so drunk she was driving the wrong way.
So he got kind of in trouble. He had to go to a sensitivity training.
Yeah, he got suspended for 5 days and had to do sensitivity training, we've since learned.
For literally saying ma'am for 1 second and then going, oh, sorry, I'm trying my best.
It's not an everyday situation for me.
Sensitivity training.
Yep.
All right, let's move on. Joe Biden's jobs so far. We had another basically fake jobs numbers report.
Yeah, the jobs report was announced on Friday showing 336,000 new jobs, but when you break it down, it's actually not as juicy as that sounds. 70,000 plus are government jobs and 151,000 are part-time. Full-time jobs actually went down 22,000. So if someone has 2 part-time jobs, Joe Biden could count that as 2 new jobs. Which, it's not Joe Biden's metric there, but
that's what they're doing.
That's what they're doing.
And they're
of
leading
course.
with, we have all these new jobs. And then you actually look into it and it's not many new jobs at all.
And it's like the government can create new jobs spending your tax money because the government does whatever they want all the time. And, we're in debt so deep. But yeah, part-timers and government jobs, that's all that's left. Business is not exactly booming.
And people are obviously struggling, so they're taking out multiple jobs.
Yeah.
So it's like, not only is it not true, it's the opposite. We're we have all these new jobs, things are going great. Oh, that sounds pretty good. Maybe the truth is somewhere in there. Maybe, it's only pretty good. No, it's actually the opposite, where things are so bad, people are taking out multiple jobs, and we're counting both of them as jobs.
Yep.
So
They're both minimum wage.
that's the sick shit that they do. But Biden is doing a good job diversifying his cabinet.
Well, twinkifying, I would say.
Twinkifying is a better word for it. This is a Libs of TikTok tweet. It says, is this the return to normalcy we kept hearing about from the Biden admin?
Yeah.
And
so
it's
there's a
all
new
the
twink.
twinks. There's new twinks. There's a new twink on the bottom right.
Yeah, he's some non-binary type, gender fluid type.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's good. He's limber.
Yeah, I like these guys.
Yeah.
So this is a return to normalcy we were promised. All right.
Part-time jobs and twinks. Enjoy your life.
No money and everyone's gay.
Yeah.
Good luck. Oh, we gotta get.
Oh, we're at war too, soon. That comes next week when we formally declare something.
Exactly. All right. We have a little bit of a conspiracy theory here. Ron Desantis.
Yeah.
Is he wearing high heel shoes?
It's been all over the internet. Here we're going to play this video with no audio, but he's got the little boots.
And then you see the painting of kind of how it would look. And then here's the key.
The crease.
The crease where the toe goes up, that means his toe's not at the end of the shoe. That means his toe's right here, and it's on an angle like this, and then the toe goes up. So that's proof. And I'm going to tell you guys this. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
I was a guy who stuffed my shoes.
This is my favorite one. Look at this.
It looks like a lady. I'm a guy who stuffed my boots in high school.
Yeah.
For college football recruiting reasons, coaches would come in, take me out of class. and I went from 6'1" to 6'3"
Yeah.
by stuffing about 2 inches of heel things in my boots.
That's actually standard too. Like not the stuffing in, but every recruit on the sideline of a college football visit is wearing Timberlands for some reason.
Yeah.
It's like George Costanza trying to get the extra inch. So
that's what I did too, and I know the game, and it worked. And the thing was, the key giveaway is the front of the shoe is maxed out because your foot's in there and pushing up. So the front's pushed tight, and then the toe points up because your toes aren't all the way in.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we're seeing with Ron Desantis. The shoe itself probably adds an inch or two, and then these heels add another 4 inches. He's adding 5 inches to his height to go from 5'5" to 5'10".
that's where I'm not going to make any assessments. But this post has been fact-checked by True American Patriots with a rings true.
Yeah, this rings true to true American patriots. I guess this is advice from his gay influencer mafia, maybe.
Well,
maybe you should wear high heels.
Yeah.
Maybe wear heels.
Yeah.
You know,
That rings true as well. So
they already gave him the advice, like, oh, maybe run as a MAGA candidate against the guy who invented MAGA.
yeah,
maybe throw some heels on.
that should work.
That could work. So that's what happened there. I don't want, the jury's still out. I don't want to get a defamation situation.
Oh, it's in a rings true scenario, which doesn't. There's no confirmation or denial.
Gun to my head, he's wearing heels for sure.
Yeah.
I bet everything on it. But just be a slightly shorter guy.
Yeah, wear it proudly. But
He played baseball at Yale.
I know, which means he's something.
He's a good athlete.
Yeah.
You're just a little guy. That's fine.
Yeah.
But once you start wearing high heels and walking on your toes, it's kind of like, what's this guy trying to sell me?
Yep.
All right, let's move on. We have some Taylor Swift updates. So Taylor Swift obviously last week went to that Jets game, and then we're finding out that is actually an SEO trick, a search engine optimization. You know SEO, when you Google something, the rankings on Google.
Like there's a restaurant titled Restaurant Near Me, so they get all the juice from that SEO.
Yeah. So
Thai place near me. It can work in many fashions.
that's a good name.
Yeah.
That's smart.
I know.
So Taylor Swift had some bad articles about how she has 2 private jets and she's not really an advocate for climate change. She's a hypocrite, etc. And then people are saying she went to the Jets game. So now when you type in Taylor Swift Jets, all the info that comes up is the Jets football game.
It's football picks.
Instead of her private jet. But
Her rampant private jet use.
Her rampant private jet
And then
use.
Olivia Wilde or something. This is kind of why we had this conversation off. We're not normally the Taylor Swift guys, right?
Oh, no.
But Olivia Wilde was like, I wish Taylor Swift was in love with a climate scientist. She had to virtue signal to her people. So took a shot, right?
And we're fair.
We're reasonable guys.
I'm not going to come out and say, oh, Taylor Swift's a hypocrite, because climate change is made up.
Yeah, exactly.
So she's actually right. And then she uses her private jets. She should use her private jets. She's rich as fuck. Have you ever seen her go anywhere and shut stuff down? If you're in the same airport as Taylor Swift, the whole airport's fucked.
It's fucked up. It's a nightmare. You're getting mobbed. You might get squished.
You can get trampled every single time, and she flies 100 times a year.
Taylor Swift can't fly Delta.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos can't fly Delta.
Yeah.
There are certain people who need to fly private. Donald Trump can't fly Delta.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These people would get mobbed, and what are you expecting them to do? Oh, I'll get in first class, and I'll wait at the front and take a picture with everybody on the plane?
And there's
You'll be 4 hours late.
Yeah. And there's 1 million flights a day, and you need her to not fly on her plane. Let her do what she wants.
Let her do what she wants. And if she goes out against climate change or any of those people are super duper climate changey, then it's like, all right, fuck off.
Yeah.
You're stupid, right? You're doing this. Climate change can't be one of your pet projects. You can do abandoned dogs.
Yeah.
You can fly private and do abandoned dogs as your charity of choice. You can fly private and feed the poor, feed the hungry. Mm-hmm. That's great. That jives. But yeah, you know who they should go after if they really cared? The super rich guys who are unknown who fly private.
Yeah.
They don't get mobbed at the airport.
The yacht people.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but obviously,
we on this show defend Taylor Swift and other super duper famous people's right to fly private as long as you don't lecture us about climate change after.
And that's why you work so hard, so you can not be around the riffraff and normal people.
That's the added bonus.
Yeah.
The riffraff. Imagine never having to deal with riffraff. No security. You just hop on the plane.
That's the way. So I'm happy for her. And obviously, climate change is a deep state money and power grab.
Yeah, duh.
Everyone knows that. There's a funny meme. Doctor, I'm depressed because of the weather in 30 years. And the doctor said, have you tried super gluing yourself to the street?
That's the basic. That's basically what's going on with climate activists right now.
And we have
That's their only move.
Yeah.
Or paint bucket on a painting that has a glass covering over it.
Yeah.
So that doesn't even work.
Yeah, that's their action. That's how they get stuff done. And then Mimetic Sisyphus, who's our consigliere. We had this funny meme last week of the boys, Mimetic, Fleccas, and Richard Rappaway blowing off some steam after another great show. That's us.
Yep.
I'm Tony.
Yep.
Which one would you be out of the next two?
I'd be Christopher. Well, the consigliere is Syl. He's consigliere. And so I'm Christopher, so I'm dead.
But Mimetic Sisyphus had some great points about climate change too. Basically, where it's like if they really wanted to reduce the emissions, they would just do nuclear.
Yeah, of course.
So it's a little bit of reading, but Rappaway is going to read these tweets. It's actually important.
Between 40 to 60% of the U.S. greenhouse emissions come from electricity. It would take around 800 nuclear reactors to account for the U.S.'s yearly consumption. That's a price tag of around $1.6 trillion, or roughly the same price as the Inflation Reduction Act. Just a reminder, they could cut emission by half tomorrow without you ever having to alter your lifestyle. They won't, because environmentalism is all about changing how you live, not the environment.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a follow-up right here.
On average, new nuclear plants become profitable after 16 years of operation. They last around 40 years. So that's over 20 years of profit making from each facility. So even if you disagree with the sticker price, that doesn't matter because some of these directly pay for themselves and then some. So
And last thing, I think we got it all.
yeah, that's the gist.
That's the gist.
You can argue specifics
Yeah.
of that on whether or not it costs that much or, different aspects of it or how much output it actually produces. But the point is they don't even care. If they cared, there'd be at least a pilot program. We're going to try 2 nuclear reactors in the Pacific Northwest. And then we'll reassess and see how it goes. Nobody's even trying. In fact, they're shutting them down. So
It's just a behavior and people and money and power control. Mm-hmm. It's another one of those, which is tale as old as time. Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Taylor Swift can't fly Delta, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want. It
Yeah.
would ruin the whole fucking, the entire, people would run from all the gates. They'd mob her.
Yeah, and there would be like all these people near her. Smell like shit.
Smell like shit.
Dirty hands, touching her.
Touching her.
Getting too close.
God forbid.
When you become that rich, street rat
And famous.
slides over.
Yeah.
So now it's
You
like,
might be a street rat to Taylor Swift.
100%.
You're dirty. You got to stay in here somewhere.
Yeah. Anyone on the plane is a street rat compared to Taylor Swift.
Exactly.
So it's like, we need my own plane. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's move on. Miss Thailand. We got bad news. We got good news and bad news.
Yeah.
The good news is Miss Thailand is trans.
Yeah. Or I don't know. I don't keep track of all the shit, but we're seeing more and more trans people, and I think Miss Universe is coming up, and there's going to be like 4 trans in there.
So Miss Universe is coming up.
And we're in the prelims.
And we're in the prelims. Thailand, if there's going to be a country that has trans Miss Universe, it should be Thailand.
They've been doing it a long time before the West even was. And
They've been doing it forever. Lady boys, we all know how that works. Of course, if anyone's
Do
gonna,
we?
Well,
we all know.
well, you go to Thailand.
We know
it's
they
like,
exist.
Yeah, you have your buddy. He's like, oh, he went to Thailand for 2 weeks. It's kind of like, oh,
Okay.
What was he doing?
What happened?
Oh, he went with his friends. They like to party. Like, oh, okay. Like, you know what they're up to.
Yeah.
I don't go to Thailand.
That's a red flag.
It's a red flag. But if anyone's going to have a trans participant in the Miss Universe contest, it should be Thailand.
We're fair guys.
We're fair. And if they did, I wouldn't get mad. I'd go, well, that makes sense.
Okay, that's the one country that it might actually... Okay.
50% of the ladies there may be lady boys or
Yeah.
whatever the percentage is.
Yeah.
But instead of going with the trans person, they went with the person with no legs.
They went with a trans no legs person.
Oh, it is trans
Yeah.
too?
And here it is, Miss Trans Thailand. Oh, this might be Miss Trans Thailand. We might have misinterpreted this. They might all be lady boys.
Okay, so they're all lady boys, and then they let the winner be the one with no legs. Because they need to level it up. If they're all lady boys and they start with all being lady boys, what's the X factor?
The point remains the same. You can't just be a normal...
You can't be a normal trans.
You can't be a normal lady boy. You have to be severely disabled.
So that's what they're going. That's what they're doing in Thailand.
Yeah, but be prepared for Miss Universe to be fully trans from one of these countries.
All right, Let's move on. We don't do shout outs on Friday, but I actually did forget one. Happy birthday to Kitty. It was her birthday on October 2nd, and we missed it. Her and her daughter watched the show.
Oh, nice.
So happy birthday. Say happy birthday.
Happy birthday, but 7 days late.
Yeah, and I missed it last week.
Yeah.
All right, last piece of housekeeping. We have an update. People with entertaining talents, or PETs, or pets. We have a new one. This guy, I don't know if you can believe it, he does voice impressions.
Well, do you believe I can make a voice impressions like this? Pokemon, I choose you! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That's good. You hear he does the Ash Ketchum voice and Michael Jackson right after.
Crazy. That's why Taylor Swift needs to fly private. She can't be around this type of fucking guy.
That is a person with an entertaining talent, a PET or pet.
Yeah.
That's a new pet I've been watching, and he's been very, very rewarding. All right, let's get out of here. We have another message from one of our sponsors, and we're going to move on to Cringe of the Week. Guys, this week's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Allegiance Gold. As a lot of you know, we are teetering on the brink of an economic meltdown that's threatening to wash away your savings and retirement. Inflation has surged to levels unseen in 40 years, prices are spiraling out of control, our money buys less and less, and Americans are incurring more debt just to stay afloat. Gasoline prices are spiking and your monthly bills are escalating. This is what inflation is, that silent evil force that eats away your wallet and purchasing power. Basic necessities are now unattainable luxuries, and when prices spiral out of control, they not only disrupt your ability to live day to day, they also jeopardize your savings and retirement. You can't let this happen. Protect your retirement with gold. Gold is the smartest and most responsible investment you can make for you and your family. It's a safe haven asset that protects your purchasing power and your wallet from inflation. It's just financially smart for all of us to diversify our retirement accounts with gold and protect what we've worked so hard for. When it comes to protecting your IRA or 401k, I would only trust the best, my friends at Allegiance Gold. Get up to $5,000 in free silver on qualifying purchases when you visit protectwithfleccas.com today or give them a call at 844-4-FLECCA. That's 844-435-3222. All right, moving on. Yeah, it's always important to have physical gold, Richard. Especially now with the world pretty much ending. It's going to be like a huge reset and technology is going to go away. And then all we're going to have is the gold you bought from Allegiance Gold to trade. And then ammo. That'll be gold too.
This is what I do when you cue me up.
All right.
Just nod my head.
First clip of cringe. The cis allies are transphobic.
If you are told that something you're doing is transphobic, it is not your job to try to prove that it's not. You are going to mess up. It is guaranteed. If you are told information and you immediately reject it and go, nope, that doesn't fit my view of what transness means, you are not going to be able to show up as an ally because all you're worried about is what you think and you feel about an experience that's not yours. It's going to be uncomfortable, it's going to be confusing, and it's going to mean that you are going to have to evaluate how gender is seeped into society, how it has affected and shaped your life, how cis heteronormativity.
Yeah. So basically, if you're ever in a conflict with a trans person, they have credibility and you don't because you don't know their experience.
Tie goes to the trans person.
Tie goes to the trans person, exactly. And when this kind of gives them the ability to manipulate everybody.
Yeah, it's kind of a take my word for it sort of thing.
And not only is it like, well, my opinion's valid and so is yours, they're actually correcting the person they're talking to. So it's like my credibility actually is low because I'm being corrected and I'm not correct about something. And then the trans person's lived experience, that's actually where the value is. So they're the correctors, which is kind of the dynamic they want in sports and politics and schools, Hollywood, everywhere. They want it to be the people, the straight people, the normal people. You guys need to take a back seat and get quiet and start listening to what these trans people have to say because they're the ones who are actually more progressive in society and thinking further ahead. And you're the one who needs to change your behavior because you're thinking like in an old way of thinking.
And even if it doesn't make sense, you have to just take their word for it, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the principle. And it's like, no, if you touch my trans dick, I'm actually a woman, so that's not gay. And then you like make them do it. It's kind of like a pressure thing. It's like, no, trust me, I'm the lived experience one. You don't know.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like kind of setting them up for some sexual assault type shit.
Yeah, it does seem like that. And they're the ones with the experience, the guy in the dress or the guy with mascara, and I'm stupid.
Yeah, I'm a normal guy. And this actually doesn't translate to anything else. Like, you don't have that right as a straight white male.
Yeah.
You don't have a lived experience that supersedes anybody else's. Like, so it's just a one-way trans street as they like it, right?
Yeah, I'm just a boring white guy.
Mm-hmm. And you have to listen to the trans person, even with nothing, even if they just became trans yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. And then also with this, like the whole identity conversation, I spoke to Mimetic Sisyphus about this. He said it's weird that one side, like the right wing, for example, their identity becomes like what their accomplishments are. So I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a Christian, I'm a businessman.
Actions. It's actions.
Yeah, it's based on stuff that you had to work for and accomplish. Mm-hmm. And then for the left, their identity is just like, oh, I'm weird, I'm trans.
They can snap into it like really quick. And it's like, I just made it. I just said it.
And it's stuff they don't have to work for. And then with their identity comes like this automatic war where, oh, you're a trans person? Well, your enemies are the right wing.
Transphobes.
Yeah,
you know?
Transphobes. And your allies, oh, those are going to be Democrats and intersectional and BLM. Those are your allies. And your enemies are these guys. Your allies are these guys. And like when you have this identity, it's a plug and play situation. You get your identity and then you're like in a war now. And then the right wing is more subtle and respectable where it's just like, oh yeah, my identity is like things I've built over time or worked for or become.
And it's interesting you say that because there's also more varied opinions on the right wing. Like, oh, I'm more of a libertarian in that thing. And oh, I'm super pro-Israel. I'm this guy I'm a neocon who wants to go to war right now. I'm Lindsey Graham. I'm Dan Crenshaw. But like, as opposed to the left where it's like lockstep on a lot of that ideology.
Yeah, exactly. And then when you put these people in charge, like that's kind of why they put trans people in schools, I think, because it's like the trans person's job to decolonize the schools because that person has a unique lived experience and needs to change the way things were so people with that same experience in the future have less backlash or whatever. Like that's the justification for inserting trans people into everything.
Of course.
And then they start doing dumb shit. Like this next piece, picnic is a racist term.
Yeah, this was a Boyd Law UNLV is scheduled to have a picnic event. This week they sent out a notice that they changed the name of the event to Lunch by the Lake because the word picnic is offensive. They also apologized for the harm or discomfort they caused by using the word picnic.
So I'm assuming that picnic is a racist term because those who picnic are picnickers.
Oh. No, that's not why.
Is that not why?
No.
Okay. Oops. Never mind. Well, what is
Can we clip that? Can someone clip that?
So that's not why it's racist?
No, and it turns out it's actually not even racist.
Okay.
I think people got confused and had many of the same thoughts that you just did bouncing around their head. But it comes from like a French word like pique-nique, which means like small foods or something.
Avez-vous un pique-nique?
Which is so funny because these guys, this Environmental Law Society, they canceled it and sent out a big email changing the name of it before they just Googled it. You know what I mean?
Classic.
Before they just go, is picnic really racist? And find an article. They just go, we'll change it to like Lunch by the Lake.
Like a trans person in the office, like this is a racist term. They go, what do we say? What do we do? Tell me what the email should say. We'll send it right now.
Exactly.
So that's
a hostage.
What happened.
Hostage scenario.
Yeah. So let's move on. Best time to catch kids. Speaking of trans in the schools. This person ran a sex education support group for youths.
Yeah, Director of Education for High Tops, an LGBTQ nonprofit focused on bringing queer theory and gender ideology into schools.
Smart.
So that's my enemy.
Yeah, let's listen to what they have to say.
The most critical time to be there is grades 5 through 8 because you want to catch kids when they're starting puberty because that's the time in which identity formation is central to their lives. However, early intervention is key. So we actually are designing a kindergarten through grade 2 curriculum this summer. And I will tell you, one of the most rewarding experiences, Nikki, we were in a local school system in an elementary school, and we were in grades 3, 4, and 5. And after we were there, 5 students went to the principal's office and came out. So we are really...
Is that a confession?
Yeah. I feel like in 1990, that would be a confession, and someone's wearing a wire, and they go, 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 go.
FBI in the other motel room. We got him.
They bust in, and we caught you. You admitted it. You turned those 5 kids gay.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And how about the word she's using? Catch the kids at puberty. Like the LGBT.
5th to 8th grade is the best time to catch them.
LGBT is talking about catching the kids. Well, let's talk to our PR team before we go out with that message. Yeah. And it's interesting. They say catching them at puberty is good, but early intervention is better, a.k.a. planting the seeds, a.k.a. sexualize an otherwise non-sexual being like a kid, a.k.a. grooming.
Do you know how little prepubescent kids think about sex?
Yeah.
And then it's all these people want to talk about. So
and you get in their ear and start talking about dumb shit. That's why we have the problems we have now.
5 came out right after you came to school, huh? And how many came out at the control school? Oh, there's no control school? You're just firing from the hip doing this shit? Okay, jail.
And who else do you work with? Would you be willing to? It's like, would you be willing to rat on them?
Yeah,
to
and you need to
lower
test.
your
You need
sentence?
to flip them to a bigger fish. It's like
where did you get your info from?
This could be a good RICO case. You know, it's like
George Soros is sending you guys money as a group, as a nonprofit.
Where do you get your funding from?
All right, moving on. Second page of cringe. Very important cringe of the week. Planned Parenthood's getting their touches too with the trans kids.
We knew it was coming. They've been dipping their toe in. It says Planned Parenthood is helping teenagers transition after a 30-minute consult. Parents and doctors are sounding the alarm.
They're trying to catch some kids too.
All right, and so this is like a narrative story about one kid who's going to exemplify how easy it was, but the article starts off with, like many on the autism spectrum, Fred cycles through obsessions and extreme views. He was part of an alt-right group chat as recently as last year, his parents said, but apostatized suddenly and now considers himself far left. So there's a kid who's off the rails both directions, right?
Yeah.
Autistic. Let's see what we can cook up. Still, Fred has a few interests that have remained constant throughout his life, all fairly typical for a teenage boy. Guns, power tools, metalworking. That made it all the more shocking when in December 2022, at 17 years old, he announced he was a transgender person. And the revelation came a few months after Fred's best friend, who also has autism, began identifying as transgender. So it's an autism spread by contact. I would call that a vector, that friend. Patient 0, if you will. But he's not obviously patient 0.
But it blows up the idea that this is just how the people are. Oh, I'm a boy born into the wrong body. I was born into a girl's body.
Yeah.
Like that idea, I think a lot of people think that's what it is. Like, oh, trans people, they just have a couple wires
crossed. A lot of
crossed.
moderates who don't look into it.
Yeah. They just have some wires crossed and they mean well. They just want to be happy, but they're not truly who they are because they're born in the wrong body. But then you read this and it's like, oh, he became trans after his other autistic friend was trans too.
Yeah.
So that makes you kind of wonder, is it really, in my DNA, or is it kind of...
Am I built different, or was I convinced of something?
Yeah.
And then, so concerned that this was another phase, but open to the possibility that it wasn't, Fred's parents tried to enroll their son, who they were now calling a female name at home, in the Gender and Autism program at Children's National Hospital, the only gender clinic in the country specializing in autistic youth. Fred was determined to take hormones, they told the clinic, which is known for its lengthy assessments. Before he did, they wanted to be sure his dysphoria wasn't transient or peer-driven, which obviously it was, right? And here's where it gets interesting and the purpose of writing the article. In late July, while his parents were out of town and after he had come of age, so he turns 18, his parents go out of town. Fred went to Planned Parenthood, which prescribes hormones to any legal adult without a letter from a therapist or a formal diagnosis of gender dysphoria. The only requirement is a brief consultation, usually with a nurse practitioner, about the drug's effects, which range from mood swings and male pattern baldness to permanent infertility. How brief? They tracked his phone for this article. Fred arrived at his local clinic on North Fullerton Ave in Montclair, New Jersey at around 11 a.m. According to phone tracking data his parents used to monitor his whereabouts, by 11:39, they received a text message from CVS. Fred's estrogen prescription was on its way. Instead of a months-long evaluation by expert psychiatrists, a nurse practitioner had, in a little over 30 minutes, prescribed their special needs son a powerful drug without their knowledge or consent.
Dark.
So, and then Fred, he just got that prescription after 30 minutes, right? Just took him 30 minutes from a nurse practitioner. Now, if you're straight, you have to listen to whatever he says.
Yeah.
Like that first video, right?
He just got a lot of leverage.
He's got power over you now, and you have to trust his lived experience for the last 45 minutes.
Yeah, even though...
And he's autistic.
And he's autistic, and he's convinced he's a girl, even though he's a boy, and then he was really far left, and then the months before that, he was really far right.
Yep.
But he got it all squared away and figured out his true identity.
Now he's on estrogen, and that's the true one. That far-right thing was just a phase. This is permanent, however.
Yeah. That makes you kind of wonder, is he just like a victim of the MK Ultra machine?
Pretty much. I mean, I think...
They just try it out. Like, all right, let's try him on the right. And it's like...
Well, we call that...
go to the left.
Yeah. A person like Fred, who's autistic too, I call that a level 5 susceptible.
Yeah.
He's just absolutely prime target. Like me, I'm like fake, gay, fake and gay. Fred's like, maybe, you know? And then he gets into it, and his friend is like, I'm doing it. And then, boom, he's zapped in MK Ultra victim.
Yeah. It makes you want to reject modernity and embrace tradition, as this meme says.
Yep.
Everyone just needs to get put in a paddy wagon.
Padded room for a while, sweat it out.
I want to cut my body parts off and be a girl. Oh, yeah, you do? Yeah, hop in the back of the wagon. We'll take you to the place.
Okay, so what have we learned? You have to listen to trans people at their word. That's it. They can become trans in 30 minutes.
Yep.
So hey, I could leave this house and come back 40 minutes later, and you're going to have to listen to me if I get the right script. The best time to get these kids is between 5th to 8th grade, but earlier intervention can sometimes be better. And we got 5 kids at an elementary school, right? So we learned all these things, and it doesn't really add up, right? It's not really sounding like a cohesive argument or an impermeable ideology, right?
It doesn't.
And then you want to go to this example?
Yeah.
This is the next example, right? So here, let's just look at the before picture. This is a guy with his wife, right? His late wife, who unfortunately passed away.
Rest in peace.
And what did this guy do afterwards? Did he process the emotion soundly?
He might have had a mental break.
He became his wife.
Wow. Look at the original photo. He always had it in him.
I know. He kind of did have that little fruity smile.
That little girl face.
And now he's ready to become his wife. So he had some trauma, and he goes, I'm getting a wig. I'm Jessica.
So there's like a thing where people aren't processing trauma correctly. And maybe this person 50 years ago would have like dressed up.
Drank himself to death or something.
Or like dressed up in his wife's clothes in the basement and no one knew. And he'd play music and get fucked up.
Yeah.
But
and now it's, these days there's only one route.
Now it's mainstream.
One
now you're
funnel.
in charge.
Yeah.
Now you're like this guy. Hey.
And you got to take his word.
Tell us what you want to do.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the last piece of cringe, the Air Force sexual assault thing.
Yeah, so all that stuff's normal, right, guys?
Yep.
And then the Air Force, this was a leak from the Air Force and Space Force Training for Sexual Assault Prevention and Response. They claim that one of the characteristics of a perpetrator of sexual assault is, quote, adherence to traditional gender norms. So...
All right, so it says make it more likely that people will experience...
Why are you reading this? I mean...
I don't know.
I just said it. You don't have to read this.
So, okay, so it says perpetrator character. So it says perpetrator characteristics: friend of acquaintance of victim. Friend of acquaintance of victim.
Yeah.
Friend or acquaintance of victim. That's a typo from that.
I know that's a typo. Are you?
All right. So it says All right. So can you look forward? All right, so it says perpetrator characteristics, friend of acquaintance or victim. All right. So it says perpetrator characteristics, friend or acquaintance of victim, peer or slightly higher rank, hyper-masculine attitudes, and adherence to traditional gender norms. So that's who's going to maybe sexually assault you in the Air Force.
Yeah.
When I would think it would be, oh, maybe it's the guy in the dress who thinks he's a girl who's in your bathroom now. That's who I would be like. People who don't adhere to traditional gender norms.
The guy who's trying to become his late wife, that fucked up guy, I think he might be a high risker. But no, it's just straight guys. And then,
your allies are the trans people.
Also, we didn't plan to talk about this on the show, but this is kind of something that we had talked about offline, which is women like marrying or going after like a boss or an indirect boss or something. That's kind of a tale as old as time, right? Of
course.
And now that's in the Me Too movement has been demonized as, oh, you're in a position of power, you should lose your job right now, and then that job should go to the woman. But like, aren't women at fault for that too? Don't they like a boss or a man in power or something? Like, isn't that something they get attracted to? So
everyone's adults too.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a teacher-student where it's like violently inappropriate.
Exactly.
Everyone knows what they're doing. Yeah. So the people who are traditional and with their gender norms, that's who you got to watch out for. Not the guy who had a mental break and is now dressing up as his wife.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Urban Decay. This week's Urban Decay is brought to you by FleccasTalks.com. If you guys love this show, you're going to love more of the show. We do over 4 hours a month of bonus content. So you're getting about 8 point something, or maybe 9 hours of the show publicly. And then we do 4 extra hours a month on FleccasTalks.com. It's a great community, great people. Sign up. I don't ask for a lot. I really don't ask for a lot. There's a lot of other stuff you guys are giving $7 a month to that, you can maybe give to us instead. You go to Starbucks, get a coffee and a muffin, it's $12. FleccasTalks.com, $7.50 a month after the first free month, and you get tons of content. You can watch 4 hours of stuff a month, new stuff, with a huge back catalog. You can be busy for the rest of your life. FleccasTalks.com. All right, let's move on. Urban Decay. Kids in class fighting. We've been covering this every week. I just want to show you what else is going on. There's the teacher in the pink shirt trying to break it up. All right. Poor guy.
Yeah.
That teacher was in this school when things were normal, when he started teaching probably 40 years ago.
He's old enough to have seen it all. And he goes, this is not normal.
And he's going to leave on, like, imagine that. After all the years, you leave on, like, the worst terms at the worst time when things are bad. And that's kind of what happened with the World War II veterans. They
see America, they're all close to dying.
But they came back from the war. America had, like, a golden age. Everything was great. And now they're going to die, if they're not dead already, after seeing, like, America kind of become the worst it's been since World War II.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
It's sad. And that's what happens to the teacher. We have an update from...
honestly, if you're these teachers, like, if you have a classroom where there's a fight and some kids get into it and it's, like, totally out of the ordinary and some extenuating circumstance that happened, maybe break it up. If you're in this kind of, what do you even want to call it? Jungle? Like Joe Biden?
That's what Joe Biden called it.
Joe Biden called it a racial jungle.
A racial jungle.
But it's like, these girls who are going to fight, and this girl's like 5'6" and doing like this. Mm-hmm. It's like, what are you doing? It's like, just let them fight. You have no responsibility to try to civilize people who want to go crazy.
Act like a pit bull.
Exactly. Something like that. They're not acting like normal. It's not rational. They're going to do anything they can to fight each other. And so why stand in the middle of it?
We have an update from San Francisco. Obviously, San Fran is constantly featured on Urban Decay. Tons of crime, looting, drugs, all the bad stuff. And Erica Sandberg had a tweet. Can you give that a read?
She said, warning, we're very close to losing roughly half of our SFPD officers. And soon, ranks are already depleted. This info shouldn't be coming from me, but directly from Mayor London Breed and SF BOS. It will get really ugly around here if they don't find a way to keep officers on the job. And this is something that's happening across the country, early retirements, low recruiting. People don't want to become if there's a nice suburb right outside of San Fran, a prospective police officer will do everything he can to go there instead of the city of San Fran.
100%.
Unless they heavily incentivize via pay or something. So recruits are low, retirees are up, and it's tough sledding, it's called.
Yeah, it's called tough sledding for a reason. There's no reason to be a police officer there, and then the whole industry has been demonized.
Yeah,
like people that do jobs like police officers or firefighters, there's no honor or respect or reverence anymore.
Yeah, specifically police more than firefighters.
So it's like, why would you? You know, if you had that calling, great, but Most people don't.
Well, and then it also becomes like, you have this idea of what police work is, and police work is a lot less glamorous. For something that has so many cool TV shows versus the day-to-day of an average cop in the city, that's a big spread, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, I slid across my car and I cuffed this guy and he was the most wanted rapist in town. Mm-hmm. And it's like you're dealing with someone who has no teeth. They're highly addicted to fentanyl. There's shit on their pants. Mm-hmm. It's like kind of the most thankless, worst. You're constantly called to the lowest of the low of society. Firemen, they just go where there's a fire.
And there's no...
You go where somebody just beat his wife, some crazy shit.
Or there's a street rat breaking stuff in a store.
Yeah.
And there's no results where it's like, well, I arrested 10 today and I'll arrest 10 tomorrow. And by next year, this street will be cleaned up. It's the same guys over and over.
It's decay, decay, decay.
So like, why, if you're a cop, why would you be plugged in and like excited about your work? You literally can't be.
If you're in a nice suburb, you can actually make a difference, right? Mm-hmm. This gang is coming in from San Francisco and targeting these nice suburban homes. We're going to put a stop to it. That's an impact. The city life drug OD babysitter wearing gloves all the time, possibly getting touched by fentanyl, is not where you want to be these days. So the recruitment problems, I believe, will continue.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's go on to the next guy who was mad that there was a white homeless person.
Listen, okay, I'll give my money to homeless people, all right? If I see a homeless person walking, they need some money. If I have it, I'll give it to them, no problem. But if you're white and homeless, see, no, I need a little more explanation. I need a backstory on that because this shit don't even seem real. So you mean to tell me y'all had a 400-year head start here and you still end up dropping the ball? And now you asking me for money? Man, get the fuck... I know you... Because, like, being white and homeless at the same time is crazy. Now, I can see if you black and homeless, okay? Because there's a lot of shit that might happen, right? You might got kicked out your mother's house, your girl house or something, You can't get a job, it's a little fucked up. You can't pass your drug test, you keep fucking up and shit. Maybe you've been through something here. But white and homeless? All y'all need is a suit and a tie. And get on Indeed. Y'all be a damn astronaut tomorrow. So, no, I don't want to hear it. I can only imagine what my ancestors are saying up there once I give this white person my money. I can only imagine it.
Yeah, that's good. You need a suit and you get on Indeed and you get a job. That's literally true for black people.
I know. That's the funny part. And then also he's talking about like, oh yeah, your mom can kick you out of your house. You can't pass a drug test. I can see that. It's like, that's all like self-inflicted and has nothing to do with color.
Passing a drug test? Well, black people got to do drugs.
Yeah, we have to.
And then it's like, oh, if I see a white homeless person, I'm not giving them money because they have so much privilege. But it's like, doesn't that prove your point is not valid? If a white person is homeless, isn't that impossible in the scenario in your head of like how things are?
Yeah, white people are privileged, so white people shouldn't be homeless, but they are homeless. And so he doesn't go back and reevaluate his thought process, go, maybe there isn't that much thing as privilege and you're kind of responsible for your own actions.
Yeah.
He doesn't recalibrate.
No.
He just goes, nah, man, fuck that, y'all. And then
Don't make sense.
Yeah, and then makes the social media clip. Not a very high-level thinker here. Just more of a reactor. So
yeah, exactly. Usually the case. All right, we have some updates from Chicago. We have a shootout that happened. And then
8 people shot in River North, which is a nicer area of town.
Isn't that like not where the shootings usually happen?
Yeah, it's not where this is where you go out. This is where there's expensive clubs. This is just north of the Loop, south of the river. So
we have a shootout here, and then after that, we have a migrant update, some migrant crime from Chicago. Let's let it rip.
There he is.
Just letting it rip.
So he's got the Glock with a switch. Did you think he wasn't going to use it?
It's called letting that thing talk.
Sometimes you got to let that thing talk and fire into a crowd. This is standard behavior, guys.
Yeah, exactly. It's completely normal.
Yeah, let's not think. Did you think that we were making it up? No. They really shoot a fully automatic Glock with a little piece of plastic on the back that makes it fully auto. China ships it in. They love it. And he goes like this. And whoever's down there.
And he ballparks it. There he is.
It's called letting that thing talk. And,
And then the mayor will come on TV and say, well, kids sometimes can jump to bad decisions.
They can make a funny decision.
Yeah.
Those kids, they make funny decisions, and we will take the migrants.
Yeah.
The Chicago mayor, too, he looks like he's about to blow up. Like, sometimes he catches himself and he does this kind of like liberal voice where he goes, oh, the kids, no, let me finish. And I think he's going to blow up one of these days soon and reveal his true colors. But yeah, enjoy the carnage, boys. River North.
Nice place to go shopping. Let's look at the migrant crimes. We have one migrant who has an interesting story.
We have 2 migrant crimes. So we obviously talk about this all on the macro level. Chicago's Terminal 4 is heavily it's migrants. It's camped out migrants right now. The migrants in Chicago are sleeping in the Chicago police stations. They're stealing radios. They're getting in little skirmishes with the cops, as we've reported previously. And so these are just some more like kind of arrest stories that are coming out. This is a group of migrants who had pot, $5,000 in cash in car during loop traffic stop. So Chicago police say 2 migrants had more than 3 ounces of pot and $5,000 in cash when officers pulled them over for a traffic stop in the Loop Thursday afternoon. And the migrant who was driving did not have a license or insurance, but he was wanted for failing to appear in court for another pending case. And so this is kind of what they're up to. They get to Chicago, they go, okay, I broke laws to get here. Why don't I just parlay that? Yeah. No license, I'll still drive, I don't care. The report also said that the bag contained more hand-rolled cigarettes and $5,000 in cash and an Illinois Link card, which is the EBT.
So he's getting free food.
Free food, stolen car, no license, no insurance, and $5K and drug dealing. So here's another one. This guy is a Venezuelan. Warrant was issued after a migrant accused of having stolen firearm in the Loop fails to appear in court. And so this was a Venezuelan who allegedly had a stolen firearm in a vehicle during a traffic stop downtown in Chicago, and he failed to appear for his first court date. So another just no-show for the court. Officers pulled over a Chrysler minivan traveling without plates and arrested the driver for driving without a license and without insurance, according to a CPD
His
arrest
name's
report.
Jordan Javier Medina.
Classic. That's like just like the Slizlewskis in Chicago. That's and the Murphys and the Dailies. And so I mean, I just wanted to highlight like these are kind of neither of these things are that serious, quote unquote. But you let in these young 20-something kids with no job and no prospects, and you go, are they gonna drive without a license and resort to crime? No, I don't think so. Hope not.
Yeah, hope not.
And they do, of course, and they're doing crimes. They don't care. I'm predicting it now. Soon there's going to be like some guy hitting a crosswalk by an uninsured Venezuelan with $80,000 worth of medical bills. No recourse for that.
Good luck.
Because they just give you the court date and say, please come back for your punishment, Mr. Illegal Immigrant who broke all the laws to get here. And so you're setting these people up for, you're setting the citizens of Chicago up for a big fuck you, right?
Yeah, it's already set up. It's already happening now. That's what they think about them. That's who's prioritized.
So yeah, migrant decay continues. The natives got the Glock with the switch and they let that thing talk.
Yeah.
Brap.
It's a real Wild West situation out in Chicago.
Yeah.
The kids don't know anything in school. The urban youths are shooting their Glocks with the switches. The illegals are here selling drugs and robbing people.
Honestly, we showed that video of the Chicago urban kids playing dice in school. That's the best case for them.
That's the best thing.
That's like what they should be doing. That's at least they're occupied. They're not shooting anyone, right?
Yeah, that's the best thing they got going for them. All right, don't get too down. Don't get too depressed. Let's move on to Uplifting Gold.
All right.
Uplifting Gold, first clip, Guy Fieri guy.
This is Chicago as well, so this is some uplifting out of Chicago at least.
Hi, everybody. Today at Top Butcher, we got our Cubano sandwich, a Toronto French bread. It's our pulled pork smoked to perfection, our ham also smoked to perfection, yellow mustard, our homemade pickles toasted to perfection, of course. At Top Butcher, $7.99 all day long today, 7128 West Grand Avenue. That's 7128 West Grand Avenue. Let me show you what we got here.
That looks good. All right, so guys, go there and get the sandwich, take a picture with him. Guy Fieri stole that guy's whole thing.
Yeah. Bar for bar, word for word, stole his whole fucking flow.
The hair, the glasses, the whole vibe. This is where Guy Fieri got it.
I know. It's crazy.
They call Guy Fieri Guy Fieri now?
I heard that. They put a little accent on like it's a real name. And
it used to be Guy Fieri.
Yeah, of course.
Now it's Guy Fieri.
Fieri.
And the same with Kiev and Kyiv.
Yeah.
And then another company's doing it too, Marriott Hotels.
What are they now?
Marriott. It's like, I'm saying it the Marriott. Marriott, right? That's how I've been saying it. That's how they've been saying it forever. And I see a commercial the other day of like, all these world-renowned hotels by Marriott. Marriott?
I don't play it like that.
It's just like a cheap rebrand, and I'm not falling for it.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go to the pool fail. The guy tried to bring the large girl in the pool. We have 2 pool fails.
Okay. What? Any lessons here, or is this just uplifting?
I think it's going to be pretty obvious what the lessons are. You either have it in you or you don't. And you don't. Oh, she's right on the edge of the pool.
I like how this guy bails and protects himself. He goes, no, I'm out.
Decks that kid, too.
Oh, a lot of bodies on the floor. Hey, pool fucking around is never good, right?
Slippery when wet.
Let's see this one.
Same problem. Okay, the pool is like 3 feet deep. So even if you landed it straight in, you'd blow out your legs.
Yeah.
There was never a world where you're going to land and go, wow, that was sick. It was immediately going to be that every time.
I think this is a that's what you get section. I'm not here. I'm going to watch. I'm going to laugh. Thank you for the content.
Yeah.
Thank you for sacrificing your body for thousands to laugh, right?
Base mug.
All right,
let's go to that one. Yeah.
Lady cop?
Lady cop.
I don't know if this is a lady or a tranny. Boom.
Okay, I think that actually isn't a lady cop.
Yeah.
Because I was going to play that video and go, all right, you're making a case for lady cops.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's just a guy with like an Asian type guy with a samurai pony.
All right, that's
So
fair.
never mind.
Never mind. Lady cops, time out on that endorsement still.
You're back in
I know you've been
trouble.
looking for that endorsement from us, but no.
You're back on the no list. All right, last clip. The guy who gets the best shot of the fireworks. So everyone knows how important it is to film fireworks when you're seeing them. That way you can watch the video later. This guy's getting the shot. He got the shot.
Michael Bay.
Yeah, Michael Bay of that. All right, another episode in the books.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I thought our last episode that we did was one of my favorite for some reason. I was the perfect amount of caffeinated, and we had so much news and stuff. This one, it's like we got to give the Israel take, and then everybody's energy gets sucked towards Israel and Hamas and shit, and then it's like other content gets a little like back burner, and it's like we're still doing the same hits. We're still here.
Yeah.
So it was a bounce back episode.
It was a bounce back episode, but it feels good. Thank you guys for watching all the way through. If you're here at this point, you're obviously going to love bonus content. We have a Bonus Land episode out now for you, FleccasTalks.com, FleccasMerch.com for the best merch in the game. Get some cool stuff, support the show, get a cool hoodie, wear it around, people see it. Oh, you like that show too? Yeah, me too. Oh, that's great. We can hang out because we have something in common now. Yeah, you're not trans, me neither.
I'll never go trans.
Yeah, kind of goes like that. Well, another episode in the books. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you in Bonus Land.